All right, what is up, my friends? Welcome. I am home from Worlds. The World Championship Magic the Gathering. It's World Championship 2023 happened last weekend. I was there and I am pooped. I was in Vegas. As you can see here, I'm on the plane and I flew to Vegas the Saturday before Worlds. So I was in Vegas for over a week. Came in on Saturday to, of course, the Pro Tour testing house. And of course, for those who don't know, I work with Team CFB and friends. This is me leaving New York. You see the New York skyline here. Pretty cool. And we're supposed to do the flight first. So we fly up. Now over the Grand Canyon. Pretty cool stuff, right? And we got to fly there about a 5-hour flight, which did not cover any travel or lodgings for this Worlds. Last year they covered lodgings because there was only 32 players. This year was a much larger Worlds at almost 100 players. So you can see the canyons here. Pretty cool. And then we land, and what do you see but the Welcome to Vegas sign? Funny side story, Brent Voss, my teammate, was landing around the same time as me, and I stop at a diner to eat while I'm waiting for him. And I asked the bartender, I'm like, hey, my buddy's coming into gate 3. What gate am I in right now? And he's like, gate D. And I'm like, well, there's like gates 1, 2, and 3, right? Like, which one am I in? He's like, gate D. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, like, it's like, well, this gate 1's over there, gate 3's over there, and you're in gate D right now. And I just like couldn't ascertain like where I was. If they're just called gate 1, 3, and like whatever. So there was no gate 2 or whatever, or like whatever it was. It's just funny. It was a funny little like just 10-minute back and forth of me being like, how come I cannot get you to answer my question? So in Vegas, meet up with Brent, super cool. You can see here, it's Caroline and Sam Pardee. Sam's my teammate. Caroline works with Watsy for coverage. And then Brent, of course, us at dinner. We were the first ones to arrive at the Airbnb. And, of course, I work with Team CFB and friends for this event. Brent, Sam, Reed, Toffel, Seth Manfield, Gabe Nassif, Andre Strosky, Jakob Toth, Eli Cassis. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. But there were 10 of us for this event preparing all in the Airbnb. And there we go. You see, you got Reed over there. And we did all of our testing on laptops and iPads for this event. It was actually really, really easy. We just played an arena for all of our testing. So we didn't build a single paper deck until it was time for deck submission, which is kind of cool, honestly. It was very, very efficient. You see the Airbnb here is pretty cool. Really, really fun experience, honestly. Just like, you're in this house with 10 other Magic players. And of course, not just 10 other Magic players, but 10 just of the smartest, brightest minds in the game, and then me, of course.
Waka waka.
Where's that flicker? I don't know. All right, here's your feet pick. All right, there, Brent Voss feet picks. Check it out at brentvoss.com feet picks. And so you can see there that this is me. This is me about 13 hours a day. So we get there on Saturday, take it easy the first day, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Deck submission was Wednesday at noon, and we spent 13 hours a day playing. Leading up to that point, just an unbelievable amount of games. I have his stats, actually. I could peek at his stats if you all want to see them. And this is one of the decks we were really excited about. This was the deck that Sam Pardee was working on. We were very excited about Soul Cauldron. And it was, we were really, really excited about it, but it just didn't quite get there. Sam spent a lot of time on this deck. And it was really cool. The combination of Thrill Seeker and Agatha Soul Cauldron is a really, really powerful one. Whenever you have a Thrill Seeker under a Cauldron, any creature above the counter on it, you can just fling, which is just insane. And the deck was super, super cool, but didn't quite get there, unfortunately, and worked on it for a while. Eli was working on like a Rakdos version. Obviously, a mono blue version ended up being played in the tournament, but let me see here. I can show you all the sheet without revealing any big information. Let's see what we got here. I could show you all here. I could show this. So player total. Sure, I could show this, right? Yeah, I could show this. So here's our spreadsheets. We have Brent and Jakob are insane with the spreadsheet. This is our matrix of like who played the most games and stuff. So you can see here I played the 4th most games of a team. And I had a 50% win rate. If I look at player specific, you can see here I played most of my matches against Seth and Reed, where I was at 51% against Seth and 55% against Reed. But against Toffel the most next, Gab the most next, Eli the most next. Then Brent and Andre just didn't play against Jakob and Sam, coincidentally. Just how it worked out, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Toffel, lots of games. So pretty fun, pretty cool to see that, obviously. All the stats are really, really cool. I can't show you everything, obviously. But still some really cool stuff. So a lot of work goes into these events. Those who don't know, the behind the scenes, just a lot of work, a lot of data. We played almost 400 games of mono white aggro prepping for this event, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, the Naya deck just didn't really work. The mana was a little rough. Just wasn't consistent enough, unfortunately. And also the fact that Sunfall is a sweeper that gets around Escort recommission is pretty annoying too. So we, after 2 long days of testing, this was Monday Night Football. I went out for a walk. Some folks went to like sushi or something like that, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm just gonna go for a walk. So walked to the bar, watched the football game. I got a cheap glass of wine and a pretty shitty Alfredo, pasta. It wasn't very good, honestly, but whatever. Had a drink. It's hard to quantify like how grueling the testing process is. Just 12 hours a day of Magic against the best players in the world every day. Like it really is. But it's obviously a very, very fun experience. But it takes a lot out of you for sure. So nice. The game was an ugly, ugly game. Oh my god.
Still a piece of
It was
garbage.
a disgusting game. Browns versus the Steelers. Just really, really bad. Yeah, it was like a pizza place bar. It was like an Italian, they were called pizza bar or whatever, something like that. But yeah, it wasn't great, but whatever. So this is us just testing again. You can see Gabe, Ely, Reed, Seth, Jakob's wife came also to Talco, which is super cool. And just everyone's on computers, just jamming games. Didn't do that many drafts actually. One of the things we really didn't do any drafts until after submission, which is pretty funny because I would say that our biggest problem this year in prepping for all the Pro Tours was we drafted too much. Where I would say at Pro Tour Lord of the Rings and Pro Tour March of the Machine, I don't think we did great in Constructed as far as having the best possible deck because we drafted too much. And for this Worlds event, we didn't do a single draft till after deck submission on Wednesday. But at Worlds, it was only 12 rounds. There were 8 rounds of standard and 6 rounds of draft as opposed to 10 rounds of Constructed. So draft was actually much more important in this event. We drafted less, and I felt pretty underwhelming. This is my first draft deck we did, just a blue-red deck. I think I went 1-2, but the deck was pretty good. Again, just us hanging out, playing, relaxing a little bit, and just chilling. Luis was not qualified, unfortunately. So, and make some bagel bites, order some food, just the real testing house moments. And Ruin Gaming asked, being such a great player, do you still feel level up moments in your testing house? I mean, not necessarily a specific level up moment, but it is definitely just there's no give ever playing against these players in this house, there's no, it's just you play against Reed over and over and over and over again. All right, shit, you just got to keep playing, So yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch there. That was mine. I bought that. The goldfish too, actually. I had to share the goldfish with the Europeans. The Europeans were like, the hell are goldfish? I'm like, just have some, you'll like them. And so there's that. This is us. This is Sam getting ready for the limited meeting. Usually Luis does the limited meetings, LSV, but he was not available for this event. So Sam stepped up and did it, and our limited meeting is grueling. It is grueling. Z, thanks to Ray, appreciate that. It's about 6 hours where we buy a complete set of a set, and we literally go through, and the person running it lays out every card in the set, color by color, ranking them all. You can see here how the rankings go on the table, and the whole team's asking questions and stuff like that. And it literally, this meeting started at noon. We took about 2 breaks and finished about 6 p.m. Grueling, but a lot of really good information. Real think tank of everyone on the team, just hey, what's this? Hey, what's that? I think this card should be here. I think this card should be there. What do you do when you have 2 of this card? What do you do when you have 2 of that card? If you open this card and that card, what do you pick? Kind of stuff. And then, we'll have spots where we'll say, hey, there's this rare here or this good common. What would you take? The really good blue rare, we don't want to be in blue, or the really good black common. Everyone raise your hand if you're taking the blue common. Blue rare, everyone raise your hand here, and then we'll argue about it and stuff. And, just, it's an intense experience, a lot of information, but super, super helpful. You can see Jakob has 17 lands up on the computer. We're cross-referencing and stuff like that, which is super fun. Having the data there as well as our own experiences, and really, really cool. Much more in-depth than my set reviews. Much, much more. And we tested only on Arena. Just tested everything on Arena, and then Sam ordered a complete set of the set for this limited meetings. It's easier to do with the actual cards, which is cool. It's funny. So in the set review, we had discussed what do you take, Torch the Tower or Candy Grapple? And we think Torch is a slightly better card, but Black was a better color to start your draft in. But everyone was like, have you ever had that pick? And then no one was like, I don't think I ever had that pick before. It's it's not a run or whatever. And then the next draft we do after the meeting, I open Grapple and Torch the Tower, of course. It was pretty funny. But This is another draft. Another draft that I did wasn't very good. It's kind of a bad red-green deck. Not like the worst, but like very, very kind of middling, mediocre deck. And we only did like 3 or 4 drafts. Honestly, I wish we'd done more. And here's a little live look at of a ponderous moment between Reed and Seth. You get an idea of what the vibes are like in the house, you know. And that was it for the testing process. So Thursday rolls around. They announced the metagame breakdown. I remember going downstairs for why I had the mustard bottles. Ask Gabe Nassif. Next time you see Gabe on stream, ask him about the mustard bottles. All right, do that for me, please. Please go ask Gabe about the mustard bottles. Okay, and come downstairs on Thursday morning, and they can't see what. Oh, the breakdown. Oh, sure. So go downstairs on Thursday morning, and they post the metagame breakdown. Of course, decks are submitted at noon on Wednesday. So noon on Wednesday, our decks are in. We can no longer change our decks anymore, obviously, and we don't play till Friday. So decks are in, and we get the announcement on Thursday morning. I go downstairs. I walk downstairs at 8:30, and they just opened it, like they're in like pick 2 of a draft, and I'm like, damn, I missed the draft. But I'm like, so how about that metagame breakdown? And everyone's like, we don't talk about the metagame breakdown. We didn't really have Esper mid-range this high, honestly. We were very, very surprised so many Esper mid-range decks were in the field. Wasn't a great matchup for our white deck. Wasn't really the end of the world. But yeah, so here's our metagame breakdown. You can see here a very, very wide metagame, honestly. Aside from Esper mid-range being, a large part of the field, no did not go up above 10%. A bunch of decks over 5%. Honestly, Standard is great right now. It is a really, really good format. Really, really wide open. A lot of things you can do. Didn't even feel like we fully tapped in on like all the possibilities too. So very, very exciting. So also on Thursday, these guys flying down. So Nicole, John, and Cassian came out for Worlds, which was super cool. I had been in the Airbnb until Thursday. I checked out. I went to the site. I recorded an interview with Watsy or whatever, and then I went to my hotel. And then these guys came. So they showed up at, about 10 p.m., which is super cool. Having my family there for the event, which is awesome. Greeny, thanks to the resub. Appreciate that. And, of course, Cassian travels great on flights, which is super, super cool. That was very, very nice. And there we are. Back in the hall, World Champs. This was on Thursday also. Going for my interviews. And there it is. There's the stage. There's the trophy. World Championship 2023. There you go. A little live look in at the stage here. And there I am. Right before round 1. About 100-ish players in the event. 3 rounds of drafts, Wilds of Eldraine, and 4 rounds of Standard. And then the same thing on day 2. However, you need 4 wins on day 1 to make day 2. So, I'm going to go over... Oh, it's screwed up. So, first draft goes in. My pod has Simon Nielsen and no one else in it of note. And I'm going to go over my draft in its entirety on the Bronze and Mythic channel. I'm going to do a full limited review of my limited rounds. I'm going to briefly go over it now. But if you want to see the full details on that, head over to Bronze and Mythic channel. Check that out. And here's my deck. It was quite good. And I'll go over the full draft again on that channel. Long and short, though, was I beat Simon Nielsen in round 1. Best player of the pod, which is great. And then I lost the next 2 rounds in just ugly, ugly fashion of just every possible bad thing that can happen in a game. Just flooded, mana screwed, wrong colors, just whatever. You get the idea. So ended up going 1 and 2. Was pretty sad about it, honestly. I played 1 Plains for the Recruiters. It's still insanely good as a red card anyway. But yeah, deck was super, super good. Very, very happy with the deck overall. And yeah, was very, very bummed. So very, very bummed to be 1-2. It's funny. I met up with CGB later on on Sunday, and he was telling me he was watching my 3rd match where I got super flooded. And Ely, who was watching the match also, actually walked over to him and told him the bad beat story for me of how bad I got flooded, which is pretty funny. But so went 1-2. It happens, it just is what it is. And then going to Constructed, I remember I was feeling really, really bummed that I was 1-2, and really, really bummed that I was 1-2. And John and Nicole and Cassian showed up about that point. I gave my whole family a hug and made me feel a lot better. I got to hold Cassie. It was really, really great having him there. And I'm like, all right, 1-2, just got to keep playing. Need four wins to make day 2. Need a bunch of wins to make top 8. Let's keep playing. So get into Constructed. Of course, I played mono white. I don't have a mono white deck list. I'm sorry. I should hold on a second. I gotta get this right. All right, so here we are. Here's the deck that I played. Sorry about that. A little spoiler here, but whatever. Played mono white. Most of the team played mono white. I should mention that in the testing process, I guess. But so there were 10 of us. 6 of us played mono white. Strosky, Sam, me, Yaka, Brent, and Toffel. And then Reed, Nassif, and Seth all played ramp, and Ely went off the rails and played this really weird deck, which we'll get to later. And mono white just crushed in our testing. It had a 56% win rate over almost 400 games internally, which was just super, super high. Nothing crazy here. Some new cards here, Spellbook Vendor. But for the most part, just Dahlia, Adeline, just kick the crap out of your opponent, realistically. Sideboard, Wedding Announcement was great in the sideboard. Not really reinventing the wheel here, just finding a deck that, lined up best against the format and lined up pretty well. And was one of the most winning decks based on the stats. We'll go over that a little bit too. But that's what we played. So that's our deck for the event. And get into our rounds here. All right, so first round of standard. I play against David Inglis, who's also was on Team Handshake. And kind of got a bit of a gift here. David was playing the Handshake Soldiers deck. I think about 4 or 5 of the players on Handshake played this deck, and it was a really, really good matchup for us. They had 0 copies of the 2/3 that draws cards, and then 0 lords, and also 0 removal spells in their main deck, aside from the 1 bodyguard. So just made a huge board and killed them 2 games in a row. Was fairly easy, honestly, thankfully, because I needed a win, So at this point in the tournament, I'm 2-2, and I'm 2-0 against Team Handshake, one of the best teams in the market, and then 0-2 against the non-team people or whatever. So empty do sub, thanks so much, or resub. And round 2, play against a player playing mono red, and pretty easy round also, honestly. Winning game 1, we kind of just go back and forth. And then game 2 was weird. He brought in 4 Lithomatic Barrages and 4 Torch Towers, and just boarded out 4 Play With Fires and 4 whatevers. And just didn't really fundamentally change his deck's strategy. And usually the red deck goes bigger, brings a bunch of removal spells and brings a bunch of planeswalkers and stuff like that. Didn't really have that, and just drew a monstrous growth and 2 scoundrels and just died. I mulled a 5 games to just beat him anyway. So it was kind of a weird round, honestly. So now I got 2 fast wins under my belt, feeling really good here. And then round 3, play against Autumn Burchett's. Autumn's one of my favorite players personally. Very, very talented player, obviously. And Autumn also brought soldiers, but a much different list. Autumn was the lone other soldiers player in the event that wasn't on Handshake. But Autumn was playing Sky Strike Officer and Valiant Veteran. So the Lord and the card draw officer, which are both much better against me. Had a Destroy Evil main also. And we played a really close match where game 1, Autumn took it with the Sky Strike Officer. In game 2, I had a pretty good draw. And then game 3, a little bit of a land stall, which is fortunate for me, obviously, but take it down. So now 3-0 unconstructed, and now that was my 4th win for day 2. So now I'm locked for day 2. I'm now 4-2. Going to the last round to play against Esper Control, and had a pretty awkward one here. So we're in game 1, and my draws, I mulligan, my draw is kind of okay, but I'm beaten down. And it comes to a really important turn where my opponent had End-Step Siphon Insighted me. And they play their 5th land. They're at 6 life, and I have 6 power in play. So, lethal on board. They tap 3 and play my Adeline off of their Siphon Insight, leaving 2 lands up, and I have an Ossification in my hand. The problem is the lands they leave up are a stupid, wacky, full border Restless Fortress and a stupid, wacky, full border Shattered Sanctum. So I can kind of get an idea where this is going.
Fool of a took.
They untap, they say go, and I see they have black-white open and black-white open, and I cast my Ossification. He taps both lands to cast Negate, and I say, nah, sorry. And of course, Adeline cost mana of any color, and he had tapped, blue-white, blue-white, blue-black lands or whatever. Not exactly, but to cast the Adeline, and just didn't leave up blue. Had the blue available. And so no possible, ill intent there at all, because Adeline was colorless. There's no benefit gained at all. But yeah, basically, Nicole was watching from afar, and Nicole was like, I literally saw the moment where his soul left his body. He went to cast it, I'm like, sorry, and he just went just whatever. So yeah, so that's why I don't play ugly full art lands, and you shouldn't play full art lands either. There was one player playing next to me when I was playing against Mono Red that was playing all Japanese alternate art duels, playing Esper, And you can tell what fast lands were what slow lands were what. Just a disaster. But yeah, so, and then game 2, I win a pretty elementary game, whatever. I kind of just beat him. And after the match, he was pretty sad. World Championship, just like, you know, you said I made a mistake like that in a really, really long time. I have anything to say, honestly. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it's a bad beat, you know? Like, so I finished 5-2, which is pretty awesome, obviously. From 1-2 to 5-2. And 5-2, that's my draft again. See, 5-2 had me here in 20th place after day 1. Breakers weren't great at this point. You can see Simon Nielsen recovered from losing to me round 1. It was 5-2 also. And Seth's down there too. And there you go. So we finished the day and hang out for a little bit. There's Cassian and me in front of a TARDIS. Hang out with the family a little bit. Just exhausted though. Just really, really tired. However, this was the night after my cool stuff dinner. Didn't take any pictures, unfortunately. This is a good one. But really, really fun. But you see here, we're walking over to the dealer area. And one of the dealers is like, here, check this out. Pulls out a slabbed Lotus worth $16,000. Let Cassian touch it because it's like in the slab, obviously, which is pretty funny. And so that was cool. And then again, I went out to Cool Stuff dinner with Jerry, the owner of Cool Stuff, his wife, and Nerd Girl, and Z-Bex, and Veggie Wagon, and all them. It was really, really fun. Had a few drinks. It was great. Didn't take any pictures. We went to the Lotus of Siam, which is a really, really cool place. And then back at it the next morning. This is me on day 2, the morning of, feeling pretty good, obviously. And I sit down for my draft, and this draft did not go as well. I'm going to go over it in full on the Bronze Mythic channel, but basically I was blue-green. I'll show my deck really, really fast. I ended up being like basically mono-green, splashing blue and black, and I also splashed this thing too. It was pretty cool, but so I had 2 foils, and they were both warped. You can see them right here. And so I'd have proxies. So you can see here I got 2 judge-made proxies. These are the cards. I played these in the event. They are the Proxy Unnatural Growth and Hamlet Glutton, which is pretty cool. So if your cards are damaged, they'll issue you proxies, which is kind of fun. And but unfortunately, I played against Simon Nielsen again in the first round of his draft, and ran a little bad. I'll go over it in full on my Bronze Mythic channel, but lost to Simon, and then lost 2 pretty uneventful matches, unfortunately, to 0-3. And not so good. Thing is, I could have pulled out a win or 2 for sure, but not a great deck overall. And yeah, me and Reed's deck were very, very similar actually. And Simon did 3 of that pod, yes. And again, I'll go over that in full on the Bronze Mythic channel when I go over the drafts in great detail. But very, very tough. So now I've gone from 5-2 to 5-5, 0-3 in the draft, and real stinker, obviously. Another huge downer. You know, I'm not dead for top 8 at 5 losses, but there is a lot of money on the line. A lot of money on the line. The prize structure for this event was very, very deep. Let me see if I can find it for y'all. You see the prize structure here. So, $100,000 to first place. $4,000 to last place. But see, a lot of big pay jumps here, right? So even though I'm 5-5, by top 16, $18,000. Top 24, $15,000. So a lot of money to still play for, despite being 5-5 and no longer able to win the event. And this is a really important spot for like any pro Magic player to have the ability to just like, all right, I can't win the tournament anymore. I can't make top 8 anymore. But there's still a lot on the line. I'm about to play essentially like a 4-round tournament where I can win, you know, an extra $7,000 if I do well. You know, which is an event you'd play in. You know, you'd be stoked to play in. So there's your prize pool. So, very important that I keep playing, very important that I keep battling, and whatever round this was, you know, round 5 of Standard, round 4 of Day 2, paired against Benton Madison, runner-up in the Pro Tour March of the Machine. Benton is playing a kind of a cool, like, Rakdos Anvil deck, Sir Ginger, Varan, and game 1, he's able to get Anvil plus Varan online. And my draw just like wasn't great. And Anvil with Varan is just like you just drain for 3 every turn, make a token, block with it, yada yada yada. So that was tough. Couldn't get over that. And then game 2, I literally drew 9 basic planes over the course of the first 7 turns of the game. I just like literally every turn, basic planes go, basic planes go, basic planes go, basic planes go. Not even a Ganjo, not even a creature land. He was like playing around Wandering Emperor, like as a Ganjo by not attacking, because like I just had literally nothing. Just literally did nothing and lost. Pretty sad. Next round play against Esper mid-range, and I honestly don't remember this round. I know I just lost. I don't remember what happened. To be totally honest, I just don't remember at all. So I have no recollection, but I lost, and I remember feeling pretty sad about it. So now I've lost 5 matches in a row on day 2. Gone from 5-2 to 5-7, and again though, still playing for a lot of money. Still need to buck up and kind of finish strong here. And I get paired against Golgari mid-range, and game 1 I mulligan, and just another really really awful game where like I played an Anointed Peacekeeper. I see his hand, and I see he just has like a Liliana, a Glissa, a Trespasser, and like, I don't know, an Underdog or whatever, something like that. And like, he plays Glissa, ossification it, and then like 2 turns later, he draws and casts a Duress. He has 2 main deck Duresses. There are literally 4 cards in my entire deck that can hit. It hits my last ossification, and then he plays Shieldred. Those were his 2 draws and something. So like, it was a really bad game 1. Very, very, like, still really, really bummed. And then I'm sitting there, I'm shuffling for game 2, and what do I hear? But my son scream in the background. Nicole and John are just like, you know, behind me or whatever. Cassie's on the ground. I just hear him go, ah! And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking win. I'm just sick of losing. Like, you know, like, I don't know what it was. I just like, a switch kind of turned or whatever, and I was like, I'm just going to win. I'm just sick of losing. I'm not going to lose anymore. I'm just going to win. That's it. I'm done. And then I played an insane match for the rest of the match. I won a game 2 where I was super far behind against like a Shieldred. Game 3, I flooded pretty bad. And like, we go to time. I kill on turn 5 of extra turns with like a couple tokens and like a virtue, like whatever. I don't know what it was. It just like, it's hard to describe. Like, sometimes you just feel like you are going to win. You feel like you are going to, you know, you just can't lose, you know, and it's like a mental part. I think your opponents feel it too, honestly, when you have like that level of confidence or whatever. I don't know. I just powered through, win the match, which is great. And of course, now I'm 6-7, going to the last round. I think I'm playing for a couple $1,000s more if I make the upper bracket, obviously, the next step up. And playing the last round against a blue-white control deck. And now I'm juiced. You know, I was super sad all day. Like, honestly, just super sad. Just lost 5 rounds in a row. Just, you know, was 5-2 at Worlds on day 2 with a great chance to make top 8. You know, all I did was 5-2 again. Basically, I make top 8. You know, and like, Worlds is the biggest event of the year. You know, I did well last year. I want to do well again. So super, super sad, but turned around, going to the last round, 6-7, and played against this like weird Azorius control deck, and I just win. I'll just tell you, I win. I think I played fine. My opponent stumbled a bit in game 2, but win, take it down. My opponent wanted to draw, but because I was paired up also, he had a draw instead of a loss. And I don't know how this worked exactly. I was like 40 something going into the round. I knew if I won, I might be able to jump here. I was like, we're just playing. I'm not gonna draw and like, you know, end up somewhere weird. I'm just gonna play. So we just played the round, and I beat him and I won. So
who's in charge? Me or the devil? I think I'm in charge.
Was 43rd going to the round, and then boom, there it is, 40th place. I had very good breakers because Simon Nielsen just won every single round after I beat him. So 40th place overall, which is not great, but there was a point where I think it was after my 5th loss, something like that, where I was playing literally at the very last table. Like, table 1, table 2, table 3, whatever. I was at table 25, the last table in the tournament, and I'm just like sad, lost a bunch of matches in a row, and I'm like, I guess like being at the literal last table of day 2 of the World Championships isn't like that embarrassing, like yeah. So I finished okay. Again, not particularly happy with my result. Going 7-7 is not great, but $9,000, not too bad. There are about 100 or so players in the tournament, so I finished in the top half or whatever. And it's the overall player quality was definitely less than last year. Last year, when it was 32 players, every single person was, a stone cold killer. This year, it was all the RC winners and stuff like that too. So there were a lot of stone cold killers and folks who just like spiked their RCQ in Europe or whatever it was too. So it was a little bit more of a mix of players. But overall, can't be too sad, right? So event's over, and it's time to kind of put take the Pro Tour hat off and put the content creator hat on. I remember after the event on Saturday, I was so shot. I had a headache. We're talking about 2, 8-9 hour days of just grueling, nonstop, difficult Magic. So like walking around, Saturday with the family. Ely's like, we're going to get sushi and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. And Nicole's like, we can get Giordano's and just like go to bed. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. So we ordered Giordano's. We were in bed by 10:30, living up the Vegas lifestyle. And that was Saturday night. And then Sunday, back on site, checking out Top 8 with the family, of course, and walking around, taking pictures of people. This is actually someone who asked to take a picture of me, but I just stole it because it's a great picture of us, honestly. So I get to meet a bunch of nice folks. Here's Top 8 announcement.
In first place from the United States, this is Reed.
Of course, Reed Top 8'd, which is super exciting. Reed killed the tournament. Was the first player locked for Top 8. Only one of our team in Top 8, unfortunately. But we had a lot of good finishes. Ely came in like 15th. Seth came in 17th. There's Cassian at breakfast. Aww. With his little Batman bib, eating some pancakes, stuff like that. And so Sunday was the relaxing day. Walk around, hang out. I watched a game of Magic that was very big Magic versus very little Magic. It was a giant deck versus a tiny deck. It's like a little mini like novelty deck of cards, which is pretty amusing. So kind of funny.
You need people of intelligence on this sort of mission quest.
So that was fun. Hung out in the arena area. John was playing arena, playing goblins on the thing. Little gobo bobos. You can see here, getting the big win against double Phyrexian on life. Pretty cool. Hanging out, just talking to folks, signing cards, having a good time. There's Cassian. Cassian had a great time meeting everyone, walking around, checking out the statues and stuff. Cassian had fun, eating Magic cards. They just kept giving John stuff. Like, here, John, have a commander deck. Here, John, have some booster packs. Here, John just sitting there playing Magic. He's a kid, So there we are under the dragon, hanging out, took lots of pictures. And then I decided to splurge. So my buddy BMO and his wife were coming in for the Raiders game. And me and BMO were Jets fans for a long time. And BMO just gave up like 3 years ago. He's like, that's it. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I'm picking a different team. Picked the Raiders and lives in Jersey now. And he was like, hey, I'm flying in for the game. I see you're going to be at Worlds. I'm flying in on Sunday to go to this game. Do you want to go? I haven't bought tickets yet. I'm going to buy them when I get there. And it was not cheap. We'll just put it that way. Tickets on StubHub were insanely expensive. However, we got like really, really good tickets. Because a lot of the seats were like way up and super expensive. We got one that was insane for like the same price as the high up seats, which is pretty cool. So just me, BMO, and Gargi. I couldn't. It was just too costly to bring the whole family, honestly. So our seats were third row. There's BMO and Gargi. Our seats were third row behind the end zone, which is just like insane. Kind of funny because the crossbar of the uprights was like right in the field of view a little bit, so you had to kind of like duck down and look under it, but still really, really cool. Basically, not almost on the fields. It was hundreds, not thousands. It was a little more than $500 or whatever, but it was a lot. More than I planned on spending. But I just won $9,000, so I splurged a little bit. So went to the game, was super fun. Lil Wayne was the halftime show, which is kind of cool. I like Lil Wayne. It's pretty cool. It's unexpected, but he did like, I don't know, 5 or 6 songs. So that's kind of cool. And then you can see here, like we were literally almost on the field. Third row, really, really cool experience. Definitely worth the splurge for sure. And that was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, I walked like 2 miles from the stadium. I walked out of a stadium to Mandalay Bay, and then I walked from there to Park MGM because they're like a smoke-free casino to play poker. Didn't have poker room, obviously. So I went to the Aria, got a phone charger and some French fries. Played poker for about 2 hours. Got coolered pretty hard twice. I got rivered by I had like 2 pair, due to a straight, whatever, yada yada. But I was only down $100 though. It wasn't too bad though. So played some 1-3. And went to Margaritaville on Monday morning with BMO and Gargi and the whole family. Here's Cassian climbing up on stage at Margaritaville. Cassian's not walking yet, but getting close. Yeah, we almost caught a ball actually, because one of the kickoffs, it hit the crossbar and deflected, but it went up. If it had gone into the stands, we could have easily caught it because the net was down for the kickoff, which is super cool too. So yeah, just go to breakfast, you know, and then there's Cassian. Cassian having a good time. He travels really well. He has the best time. So woo! There's Nicole catching him, and then we were back on the plane. So back on the plane, and didn't do a lot of Vegas stuff, honestly. Like that, I played poker for 2 hours. That was it. That was the only time I was in a casino at any point on this trip. You know, it was a business trip for me, and I think folks don't really understand that. But like, I grew 13 hours a day, every day practicing, and then the event itself. Sunday, I was dead. I was a piece of jello. You know, I was really like just goo. I still feel like goo, honestly, for the most part. But flying home here, you can see Cassian. So Cassian has been loving the movie Encanto, and Nicole puts Encanto on, and then we're about to take off, and they put on the safety video, and Cassian starts slamming on the screen. He's just like, you turned off my damn movie. Put the damn movie back on. So. It was really funny. So this is us 4 hours into the flight, but he was pretty good overall. Honestly, he did a pretty good job. And that is it. That is my Worlds experience. Again, I'm going to go over the limited rounds in much more detail on the Bronze Mythic channel. I'll be doing that live on stream coming up after this, so make sure you stay tuned for that. That's the event. So it was really cool. You know, as of present, I'm qualified for Pro Tour Chicago in February, and then the next Pro Tour after that. So I'm queued for two or three Pro Tours next year. So in decent shape to make Worlds again, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Honestly, don't know when this ride's going to end. You know, I am sort of playing Pro Magic again by accident. I won that qualifier on stream last year. I've been playing in pro events ever since. If I ever fall off, you know, not a great chance I'll get back on again, because I'm not going to try super hard to like try and qualify, but I am qualified for now, and I'm enjoying it. It's been really cool. It's been a little stressful as far as time goes. Definitely cut into my content time a lot, but still really cool. And that's it. So again, Bronze Mythic channel. Look for the draft reviews. Stream folks, we'll do that right now. YouTube folks, though, love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. That's the event.